there now.
Yeah, you should be.
We live there, that's where we had.
Yeah. I was a hot
Okay,
man.
and now we gonna tell it all, you
Hey,
better stay.
You go ahead, cause we done filled up 2 tapes, now we're gonna start on one with girl.
You tell me I got to go, cause I got to go to.
And your ears are so pretty, they so pretty.
But now, let me tell you, down there,
I remember Mama make us get in the
I'll tell you
hot
what,
tub.
great,
Like a
Keep
wash
it all
tub.
straight now.
I'm gonna try to, hey, I'll just hush, but I don't know, cause I'll be this way. I'm truthful, I'll tell it like it is, but when it goes, I
Well,
just
so
hush.
you make a mistake, just like I did there, when I said it was between honey pack and where shows. I
Well,
didn't
I
have
said-
apple. 'Cause
Well,
I
I'll
didn't have
admit
apple
that
candy.
it does not know when y'all talk, you bring some things
Bring
back to
some
my
back.
remembrance that
Well,
I
you
can
know what I
kinda
told her
straighten
while
you
y'all
out
was
on a
in
little
there?
bit. What I mean, like, because I was there, and it seemed like you were bringing back, and I was there, and it's things that y'all wouldn't be old enough to remember
Just
that
what we've heard.
that you've heard. And sometimes, just like when we're telling things, it might not be, just like last week. Ooh, I remember when Sister Hanvey used to bring y'all to our house, and we'd eat not onion, but we'd eat cornbread and butter beans and stuff, or milk and bread and stuff. And I don't even remember the people, don't even remember ever going to their house, you know?
Well, the first place I remember is McCall.
And you know, a lot of people say,
Well,
well,
honey,
how
that's
come you
far
don't
back.
remember me? I used to come to the church all the time. Well, we don't know everybody in Daughters, but everybody in Audience knows who we are.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
See, I'm 3 years older than her, and she was up pretty.
You remember on that bus? when
Yeah.
they happened
Yeah,
to me?
yeah,
They
actually, they told it
when I, yeah, I've died
You don't
different
remember
times.
that.
I've died 3 different times. It seems like I remember it.
Yeah,
Mama
right,
said that I
you've
was
heard
sewing on a green pear, you know, where some of the kids had already
Had a
eaten.
commotion like scared us
Yeah.
all day.
And
We
Mama,
loved you,
and
we
Mama,
prayed we was
Mama
gonna live.
prayed and said,
Let
Lord, if
you
you
live
just
to
let
get to
the life
Sinker.
come back in my child till we get to Greenville. Said, and she said when they come to the sign where it said Greenville, city of Greenville, or welcome to Greenville, said she looked down to see if I could quit breathing.
Yeah.
I know Mama told me lots of times she'd say, honey, you ought to be a good girl.
Huh? She's leaving.
You ought to be a good girl because said you just living on prayers.
On borrowed
And you know,
time.
my heart stopped when I was on the operating table down there at Clinton too.
Yeah.
When I had that,
But we've been, honey, we've been
to seal, sister seal.
we've been, we've been.
Okay, you have
And
to
then,
start,
hey,
don't you?
and then I had that.
If I ever got through telling about me and
No.
JD getting married, and making
running out.
Go ahead, hon. Go ahead, hon. Just
Oh,
like that,
well,
y'all moved up to Hampton.
well, we moved down to Honey Path when Audrey was 3 months old from up there down Honey Path, and JD was started working the mill down there, and he
Do you remember when she got married?
I remember when she lived up there by that railroad in
well,
Always.
that was the first place.
Well, do you remember when we lived in Honey Path when I burnt my leg? Do you remember?
Over at
where
Irvin's.
They worked in the yard.
Irvin's, where's that?
They call
when
him
we lived
Puss
down
Irvin.
in the, yeah, in the country, yeah, 'cause I
Yeah,
remember
out in
that
the
Aunt Ida used to bring boxes of their clothes and it just tickled me death.
Uh-huh.
And one time she brought
She
some,
done that for us.
one time she brought some moccasins. And there's almost too little for me, but I wouldn't tell Mama because I was afraid she'd give them to
That's what
somebody
we done
else.
with a pink dress. All of us wanted that one pink dress.
And that, hey, that's the only place I remember picking cotton, except it easily one time when we helped Grandpa King in his
Well,
garden.
see, the reason I don't remember it. The only thing I remember about the house was
pick
the
it
wood
up.
stove, and see, I got that real big scar on my leg
I
where I
can
got
see
that.
it in my mind where we lived out there.
Oh,
The
And
Irvin.
Aunt Louise had that big old rise.
Y'all
Yeah.
would, y'all would see
They
it.
had, Aunt Louise had that great big rising on her leg, you know, where it was sunk
That's,
in.
that's
You
what
remember?
makes that big
Yeah.
old scar on her
Yeah.
leg now. And you know,
Then we
Aunt,
moved to
Aunt
App.
Pauline Hanvey used to have sores like that on her leg, didn't she?
Yeah, Aunt Pauline did. Sure did.
Well,
Well,
and then we lived at Alva. You remember living at Alva when the dog come home? What happened? Did we give our dog away?
I don't know.
You
It
don't
seemed like
know
it
that?
got lost or it followed somebody.
But it come back after 2 or 3 days.
And I tell you what I remember, that I had a girlfriend named Geraldine Bragg. And
Yeah, I heard
they lived, when you left town, you know, the mill village, well, it was dirt road out to our house,
Yeah.
because we lived on Route
Yeah.
3 out there
Yeah.
next to the Rains, you know, in their house.
And the
But
hounds.
was the
lived
Rains
out
the
that
one
way.
that had that great big house?
Rains, yeah,
Rails,
instead of
and
hounds.
we used to
Yeah.
ride to school with them. They'd take us to school sometime. But anyway, it's about 3 miles out there, but I wanted to walk to, Mama was wanting something from town, but when you, right at the edge of the mill village was where, the brides lived. Well, her last name was Bride, but her mom had married again. I forgot what her stepdad's last name was. But anyway, it was real hot, and Mama told me to take that umbrella so it wouldn't be so hot on me. And I felt so stupid because it wasn't raining, and Mama wanted me to. I went down, but I felt so stupid, carrying an umbrella and it wasn't
I feel
raining.
like that's
It is,
over the
it
high
is.
beautiful face.
Well, get it done.
And I never will forget, I was all kind of saying things backward. Well, I think I'm stopping long enough to tell you this, but I didn't buy the most expensive fly swatters. It won't come
Well, that's
loose,
all
but
right.
it's
That's okay.
a little bit shackled.
Okay.
All of them's like that.
I know, I'm just.
I got them for 39 cents. They're supposed to be about 59 or 79, and I said,
Well, that's cute. She gave me one and you couldn't see the buzz off.
pretty.
All right, I'm not wanting you to buzz
And-
off. You
and-
just go right ahead.
and,
I'll get down
I was
there.
all time saying things
So I won't forget
backwards, I thought it was cute. I was at the age to where I thought it was cute to say something backwards. And when I went in there, they were sitting at the table eating, and I was going to ask Geraldine's mama if she could walk over to the store with me. And they told me to come in. They asked me to have something to eat, and I told them no. And I was going to tell them that I thought it was so hot walking. That it was so hot.
And I just tell her, be sure to stay over this way.
Yeah.
I was telling them that it was so hot walking. I went in there, I said, it's so hawking, and it got over me so good saying it backwards like that. They
You know,
know
the best they'll tell about starting a fire.
Fire.
You remember
Now,
when y'all done
when they
that?
had green
Start a fire.
woods. All this green wood.
We just said everything on this. We got a gas to tell said it was gonna be X-rated because
She done said that. I'll tell you what it was. They tell when me and JD went and got married. And
Who married
I
y'all
thought-
and where did y'all
Brother
get-
Cooper, we got married in Anderson. Brother George
Carl
Cooper
Ruth go
married
with
us. No, we didn't let Carl Ruth go with us. We let Dorothy and
and Harold?
Harold went with us. And they
That
didn't
was
want.
his name, what Harold Scott.
Well, see, they didn't want, Ruth and them, didn't like Harold too good, and so Dorothy and them wasn't married, her and, Harold wasn't married then, and they didn't want Carl and Ruth to go with us, cause they know Ruth didn't like Harold. And so we was gonna spend the night though with Carl and Ruth, and they carried us, we went to Anderson and got married. But we went all the way to Greenville to Pete's #1 and got a hot dog.
and she said they
From
were
Anderson.
And they didn't take us out. Now that was our honeymoon. They didn't let us get out. They went in and got us a hot dog and Orange Crush and brought it back to the car.
But Pete's used to have the best
And
hot
then
dogs,
we
though.
come down.
I mean, that's like a good old pizza. or
And
something
then
now.
we come
Wasn't it
down,
good?
no, and then we come back and spent the night with Carl and them. I was telling about it, and I was telling about us going to bed, and they thought I was
we
going
were
to bed.
just like this, and we thought she was gonna
She
tell
was-
us
And I
everything.
told them all about
Janelle
going to
wouldn't want me
sleep,
to tell
and I told
Yeah,
them,
that's-
hey, and I told them all
all the
about,
tapes.
hey, I told them all about me going to sleep in JD's arms, but Carl and Ruth was going to play a trick on us, and I kept hearing something going tick, tick, tick.
And Danielle thought it was Carl and was bed
And she
upstairs.
thought I was going to say it was Carl and Ruth upstairs, their springs, but it wasn't. See, they stayed awake there about all night waiting to hear that clock. They had a clock up under our bed set to alarm. And I carried it, and so JD stood up under the bed in a dishpan,
Which sound like
and JD eased it out and cut the alarm off, and see, and we went to sleep. And they stayed awake.
they got disappointed, didn't they?
Yeah. And so I got through telling y'all know that JD only made $10 a week. And then when he went down there, he made $20 a week. And we thought we was rich. And I'm going to tell you what,
It
for
went
all of
fun.
y'all that was at home at that time, I bought one Christmas, I'll never forget, I got it because I got enough material
We
for
always-
Mama to make her a nice dress. I let her pick it out.
I'm just gonna
And-
check to make sure this is going.
And we got all of y'all presents. We've done more than we can even afford to do now.
Well, you know what?
On
we
that
always
$20
we
a
always
week.
look forward to
On
getting
that,
JD and
on that
and
$20
Seduna's
a week,
gifts
what is it?
because
I still got the date up there, and it's so going across her the face.
we got,
Excuse
and well, it don't matter. Just
Yeah.
it's.
No, I just want to get the
Oh,
date off. I just
yeah.
wanted it. I
You
had forgot to
want it
turn
to
it
be
off.
on there, but now I'll tell you. with that $20, we lived as good as me and Dillard lives now with his $300 or more that he draws. Well, he makes more than that, but
Yeah.
we lived because we went and bought groceries. We had stuff just like we have now, plenty of it, and I always bought some kind of foolishness for
The
you
kids.
for the
We always
children.
look forward to
I
Christmas
wanted-
presents 'cause
I've always, all of my life, I wanted my children to enjoy the things, and I had a happy life when I think back about it, but I knew that other children had things, and I wanted my children to not have to ever think about that they didn't have.
More than
That
what
they
did.
didn't have the things. It's just like I said. But now I do regret, but I told them, I believe that's the reason the Lord's let me have good health and live like this, so I can enjoy it, because I am like a child really about enjoying lots of things.
Well,
It don't
I
take
think
a whole
we
lot to
all-
make me
we
happy.
all are like that.
Well,
We all got
see,
child.
Well, see, I didn't get to be a little girl. I did not get to be a
Diane
little
didn't
girl.
get to be
No.
a little girl either, because I
I
depended
did-
on her so much. I told her one time, I said, "Hon, I have cried myself to sleep thinking about how I had to depend." I said, "Of course I know I had to, because I was sick. Depend on you." She said, "Mother, don't you ever cry another night like that or any time." And I said, "But hon, I can't help it."
But-
And she said, "Yes,
see,
but
she
just
didn't
like,"
look at it like
she
you
said,
did.
"No, she didn't.
Uh-uh.
There'll never be another Diane.
No.
There's just one of them made. That's all."
Right.
Reason why I'm proud to say she is mine. But anyway, she said, "Mother said, this is the way I feel. What if I hadn't had to take care of you?" Said, "What would I done me having my children like I had them?"
Right. Well,
She said, I got experience. And I said, "Well, honey, it makes me feel so much better."
Well,
for you
see, Grace, now it's like, I know all of us, Mom, we had to help Mom out because we were a big family. But I was so young, and see, I married so young.
Uh-huh.
And I never did get to go out and play. If I went to somebody's house and played, I had to be responsible for 2 or 3 kids. I did. I'd have to take some of y'all along with
Well,
me.
Diane
I don't know
didn't-
which one it was, but I don't even remember because I don't care. I didn't hold that against
Well, it
wasn't that I
wasn't
didn't love.
me.
No. And
Danielle,
I did to her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Grace
she's
too.
squall bag. Bless it, sorry.
Well,
She
yeah,
was.
yes,
She
sir.
was squall bag.
And Mr.
Danielle said I was.
But
She
listen,
didn't, she didn't go into it.
Hey, when we lived
some-
in East, lived Mr. Hinton, every time we'd go in the store, I can imagine, I remember how we looked, Mom would tell us, they had a barber shop up there right beside the store at Easley, and she'd send us up there, 2 or 3 of us at a time, and she'd say, "Tell them just the tips of your ears showing and French it up in the back." You know how my hair cut that way, and bangs, and every time I'd go, I can just remember little blonde-headed, little white-headed kids almost, blonde-headed kids going in up that store. We loved to go up there and buy some bar candy, or Mama would let us get cinnamon rolls. There's 3 of them. They used to make them this long, 3 cinnamon rolls, and there's about that wide. Well, see, that was enough for 3 of us kids to carry something to school. And I remember the notebook paper too. We'd get 100 sheets of paper, and Mama would divide that between us, And you don't get 100 sheets now. It costs $2 or $3, and I think it cost about a quarter or 39
Maybe
cents.
a
something like
dime.
that. But now that cinnamon bun wasn't but a nickel for
But
3
you know,
sections.
but you know.
And he would say every time we go in that store, he'd say, "Well, here comes Cry Baby."
Yeah.
I don't care who was with me or if I was by myself. And I said, "Why do you say that every time?" He said, said, "It sure does seem good to see you not cry now." Because said, when you was little, you cried all the time. Said,
You
I mean,
did.
every time I saw you, you was crying. Said, "You are
About
a
something.
crybaby."
About something.
And I said, "I was sick."
Yeah.
Mama said I was sick.
Yeah. But now,
A lot of it was
but
mean
see
as
now,
well.
this is another thing. I never did feel mean at Mama. I never did wish that she wasn't my mama or anything like that. But I just always thought, I wish I could play like other girls did. Get to
Yeah.
go out and not feel. See, I had that responsibility all the time. And I thought, I'll tell you one thing, when I get married, I ain't having no little old snotty-nosed young'uns myself. I'm just going, I ain't having no youngest.
You and your husband was just gonna have a good time.
I'm just
Well,
gonna.
you know, when I used to stay with Carl.
But,
we
and then
lived
I
at
had
Whitmire.
Roy.
I was
Right,
14
a year after I was born.
14 or 15 years old when we lived at Whitmire. Well, I kept Evelyn and Donnie. And I was all the time imagining, you know, playing like that was my house and there's my kids, you know, because it made me not dread the work. The only thing was Ruth was bad to complain about, I didn't do this right, or she'd complain to Carl. I remember seeing her sitting on the side of the bed and she cried because I didn't mop or wax right. I might have left some streaks or something. Well, I wasn't but 14 years old. And
We never had to do. We didn't have to
and,
sit right around
but
the edge
she,
of the room.
but she cried, you know, because I didn't do it right. And but anyway, I got to thinking, you know, I'd see people that go out to eat, and I said, I hope that when I get married, that my husband will call me sweetheart, and that we'll be able, even if we have children, to go out and eat sometimes. And I said, well, the Lord has really answered my prayer because we go out to eat all the time.
Yeah. Well, I never did. I didn't know how to want for nothing because I didn't know there was nothing for nobody else but what you know, the kind of life I lived. And it was good. I didn't mean for it to sound that way, the kind of life. I had a good life. But
When
Yes,
you
I
live
did.
it, when you live it, you don't feel.
then I
We
should
didn't-
have
we
think.
didn't feel
Then
like
I should think and be
We thought
proud
everybody
that
else
I
was
was
Round up like
that
we were.
well that I was capable of taking care of Mama's kids
Yeah.
for her
So-
since she had to go
That's why I
out.
told her all across. I said,
Look
look
at
at
all
all
the
the preachers that
It's
come.
come from that's
All
right.
that church full of preachers,
Yeah.
lots of them in there was
Grace,
from Mama's
tell
kids.
how when you were born. Just tell, you know, your date.
Yeah.
I was born April the 7th, 1927, and but now when Mama was 7 months pregnant with me, we lived in this house down there. They called it Bunker Hill. It was in Dillon County, and it's the place where they didn't have any food one time. So it was before I was born. I don't remember that they tell. You know, I've heard them tell about that the Lord. This man came in back down there with a truckload of groceries and all. But about Carl made the fire and everything, and Mama put her apron on and even washed her hands to cook when there wasn't anything there. But and the Lord provided though. But Mama fell and broke her arm when she was 7 months pregnant with me, and I used to laugh and tell her that's what was wrong with me because she fell, you know, when I was pregnant. And I used to tell her that she had two, instead of having one kid that was crazy, she had two that was half cracked. Me and Sue Dealer.
You on one side and I'm on the
Yeah,
other.
yeah, that's what I used to tell her a lot of times. But anyway, but Laura, you've been so much help to me at calling, talking to you, and even before now it helps me. But and I'm so proud of my sisters. But talking to Mildred, even before Mildred was a Christian, I could talk to her and it'd make me feel better.
Yeah. But we are. But you
We've
just
got
have
a
to
lot
say
of
we're a
mama
good
dating
family.
us.
We're a good family.
Mama has some precious
and
kids, and I'm
so
trying to
why
say
not
I'm
say
one
it?
of them.
Why not say it? We are a good family. We're from a good family.
And I tell you, I said, one thing,
Good stock.
we do not have to be ashamed to tell anybody that we're Hanveys.
No, I'm not.
I know we
No.
don't
Never
have
have been.
to.
Never.
I never have either.
And I'm gonna tell you, I told them, these friends of mine, I told them, I said, well, one of the greatest heritage, I said, we wasn't left millionaires or anything like that, but I said our mother and Daddy was the organizers of 13 Church of Gods in South Carolina, the strongest churches of South Carolina, really. And I said, we didn't know that all this, we didn't realize that all of this happened. We just know we went places and they preached and they
We
was
got
churches
something.
of God.
Well, listen, have y'all
And
go ahead.
and they but I said, you know what? I said, we are a proud people. We've got lots to be thankful for
We sure
because
do.
everywhere we go, and I think this is the greatest compliment in the world, and because it is the truth. I'm proud I can go through it just like we've reminisced this morning about all the way back as far as we can remember. What has been against our mama? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Almost a perfect person. And
She
I know
was the
they say
nearest to
that's
perfect
not.
as a human could be.
But I thought, and it
Cause
just like,
nobody's perfect, but
and
I
just
mean,
like I was telling these people, I said, just like I'm saying, the greatest heritage. And I said, I'll have to say it. It bragging, if you want to call it that or what. But that when we go somewhere, I'm proud to say I'm Hanvey. You know, Preacher Hanvey? Yes. Nettie Hanvey? Yes. Oh, I got saved on her preaching. If it hadn't have been for her, I'd probably be lost. And I said, that's the greatest
yes,
thing
it
in
is.
the world.
It sure is.
To me,
I
I
know
think
it
I
is
said
too.
that, and I said no matter where we go, I've never had nobody tell me anything bad about my mama.
If
They
they
didn't
don't
know,
remember,
they
if
didn't
they
know.
don't remember, you can say it was the woman preacher that had all them young.
Yeah, and they remember.
Oh,
they remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Mama
Yeah.
said, Mom then went to some kind of preacher's meeting or something down at, some kind of convention or something. It was down at Columbia or Charleston or somewhere. And, what's that man? It's old, it's up in, he married a young girl, Thurman, and he had just married the one that died. You know, she had some kind of, something wrong with her, some, growth of something on her brain, and she died. But he is when he married that first young one. And, he, when he found out that Mama had 13 children, he said, "Don't move, I want you to stand right here. I want my wife to meet you." And he went and got his wife and introduced her
Well, I
to
didn't
Mama.
know that it ever happened.
Well,
Yeah,
I know he was.
he was at this. They had some of the
Oh, he come
politicians
to
and
he come
things.
to
Only
he
one
come
to,
to state to camp meeting.
Well, he
didn't
came to where I saw him because it's
Only place I
in
saw him.
Lockhart.
Well, what is
Yeah.
it they have in Charleston and Columbia sometime about the preachers? Don't they have some kind of convention?
Prayer, they had, used to have prayer conference, but the time that I remember seeing Thurman, he came to Lockhart, and we were all over there. Mama, it was